Hey everyone, and welcome back to another great episode of 100% Fresh with Two Chef Mission. Of course, we are Two Chef Mission, and we are just really happy to be here with you guys and excited to bring this episode to you. Today, we are going to be talking about growing your passion for cooking and the process of how we would suggest to be able to move forward with that.
Yeah, kind of some ideas on growing your passion.
Yeah.
So I think we should, start. Why would we want to grow our passion for cooking?
I think one of the biggest reasons why is, and it said, I believe with Anthony Bourdain says it, that those who cook offer something to everyone around them in the sense that what they're doing out of love. And they're sharing their heart and their love for the community that they're with. To be able to be a part of it. I'm pretty sure it's Anthony Bourdain, and he has this whole quote about it, and it's great. I'll make sure to find it and put it in the description or in the comments or somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think there could be a couple of reasons why you would want to grow your passion, because it could be, one, if you're wanting to get into culinary or like the food industry and stuff, that would be a very important thing to do, because if you don't have a passion for it, why are you doing it in that sense? Now, I think you can generally tell someone's passion in their cooking. So like if you're cooking for your family, obviously you're gonna have like a certain amount of love into it because you're cooking for the people you love. But as you grow in your knowledge of cooking, that also helps you grow a passion in it. So in that sense, like, it's definitely, it kind of goes hand in hand with like getting that comfortability in the kitchen and with meal planning and all kinds of things,
and
right?
Just everything we're about and everything that we talk about.
Bumped.
Yeah, I saw that.
Whoops. But so in that sense, it's like, where do we start, right? So we have some different places you can start with growing your passion.
Yeah.
Yep. And our first one is learning the basics.
Now, what would you classify as the basics?
As the basics?
Yeah.
Well, I would say that you're like starting off with like your very, I mean, there could be very many levels of this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, absolutely.
Like, cause
that's why I asked. Because
the basics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at this in a culinary standpoint of like, I want to be interested in culinary school or getting into the food industry and stuff like that, your basics are going to be like learning more of where the Kitchen Brigade and all that stuff started, as well as like, starting off with like learning your stocks and sauces and soups and things like that, and going from kind of like very beginning basic to getting to your proteins and stuff like that.
Right.
Now, if you're looking at this from a perspective of like, I'm cooking at home and I want to
be able to
like enjoy it more a bit,
enticing meals,
right? Because also growing a passion, can grow your motivation to do the things at home and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And to like, I don't want to say put more effort into it, but kind of put more effort into it. But so in that sense, like, you're gonna want your, like, learn how to cook a chicken really well, right?
Oh,
whether
that's a good
like
one.
The different parts of chicken or whole chicken, right? So, or learn how to cook steak really well.
Yeah.
Like, so kind of take your basics there in the sense of like, I can do the basic cuts of meats.
Right.
Very
something that you
nicely.
Can just pick up at a grocery store.
Or like the very classic meals and stuff. Or the specific meals that are like your family's favorites. And like learn those things. But as well, I would note that it's a good idea to learn basic kitchen tools.
Okay.
What would you say?
So my first thought is, when you say learn the basics, I would say to get comfortable holding a knife and using a knife.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Because at the end of the day, like, that's going to be one of your biggest tools in the kitchen. Also, be comfortable around hot things. And, I mean, I guess that comes with more comfortability than learning the basics. But, so I guess going into basics, it would be learning quick, simple recipes that you can master really well.
Yeah.
I know my sister-in-law, she loves her Cajun chicken pasta. We love it too. And we've actually taken
They've got it, like, down.
They have it down to like a science, and we've taken it and we've kind of morphed it into other recipes.
And we also have ideas of doing that with other plays on it.
Right. But it's something that we got to experience through her cooking. And that's something that's like a huge staple in their house. That's like one of their go-to meals. And so for them, that would be like one of their basic meals.
Right. And then I also would add in, like, learning the different cooking techniques and procedures. So, like, baking,
Sauteing.
roasting, sauteing,
Yeah.
pan fry, poaching is a good one. So, like, kind of testing out those different ones and kind of getting comfortable with that, because then you're opening yourself up to being able to do other recipes that you would possibly be uncomfortable with. And like an easy way of doing those types of things is like exploring recipes.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, that comes with time invested into it and trying new things.
I'm trying to remember what my brain was thinking. Oh no, it's about learning the basics. Oh yes, learning the basics. I remembered. This is your level of, like, okay, as you need the groundwork.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So,
It's your foundation.
like, this is your foundation of, like, learn the basics, because from there you can start adding on, and that is gonna, so, like, learning the basics is going to get you comfortable in your kitchen, because you're like, okay, if you know the basics, you can basically do anything.
Yeah, you really can. I mean,
because everything comes off of that.
Right.
It's just adding in different steps or different ingredients and things like that from there.
it's like, it's a bit of a tangent, but it's like learning the mother sauces.
A bit of a tangent.
But it's like learning the mother sauces. Once you learn those sauces, basically, you can make
you can
anything.
go, because there's so many variations and stuff.
Just adding a different ingredient or adding something, a new step or a new mix into it. Yeah, it just opens it up to a whole new world.
So number 2 is trying new and unique ingredients. So, like, as you've set your groundwork, right, you start kind of throwing in different flavors and stuff like that, because from there you're kind of stretching yourself to learn new things, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you could pick ingredients that you've never used. Like, sometimes if we want to kind of change up what we're doing, we're like, oh, let's pick a random, like, a few different produce that we haven't, like, used in a while or that we've not really cooked with.
Or if we have to go to a specialty market to find it. Like, we're fortunate here that there's a couple different nationality markets. So there's, like, we go to a Korean grocery store from time to time, and they've got, like,
lots
everything
of things to try and stuff
that
like that. Yeah,
we have so many things that we haven't tried yet, and that's really cool.
But yeah, so it's kind of like getting to from there. So, like, from learning your basics, you kind of start to stretch yourself to try in new things, so that also kind of, like, sparks your creativity,
Right.
and gets you. It also kind of grows your motivation of, like, oh, this, like, because then you can look at new recipes or different videos and stuff,
Right.
and it's pretty cool, because that's where you kind of start getting to that place where you can see how to make up a recipe. Because you've, like, learned your basics, so you can be like, okay, well, these flavors kind of go together.
Right. You've got your foundation to go with, and
then
you're just
what if I
taking that
added
next
this
step.
in?
Yep.
And then you can take a recipe and do spin-offs on it and kind of play around with that.
And I think one of the great things about trying new ingredients And even like I was suggesting seeing what like kind of local specialty stores you have around you, is that you can then figure out a type of cuisine that you like, a nationality of food that you really, really like, and then you can really start diving into that, those recipes and kind of the culture of what they have through food. And it's definitely something that like you want to take your time to learn. You don't just want to like jump into the deep end and say, okay, I'm gonna do Middle Eastern or I'm gonna do African, because that might not be your cup of tea.
Or you just don't even know where to start.
Exactly.
Which leads us to number 3, which is research and start learning. So after you kind of add in some new things that you haven't tried, you kind of, then you're like, okay, I've started to stretch myself, but I can only go so far. But if you wanted to do things like learn more world cuisines or things like that, you could start researching, whether that's online or through cookbooks. There's so many options. Or and with online, it's endless with like recipes, videos, blog posts, articles.
Even just pictures of food.
And then there's also, you could get magazines.
Yeah. Because even with just pictures of food, that can spark inspiration to say, you know, I want to make that. And then that takes you to that step. And we've done that.
I've definitely looked at pictures, or I've just seen pictures. And I'm like, that looks really good. But like
I know there's a couple shows that I've seen, and I'm like, I want to try to recreate that recipe. And
well, yeah, there's one recent, like I saw the video that was like they called it a lemon tiramisu, which
that one looks good.
It does look good. You can't really call it a tiramisu because
tiramisu is coffee cake.
It's not coffee cake. Oh my gosh, you just totally like butchered that. But a tiramisu is gonna have specific things to make it that, right? It's the ladyfingers, the mascarpone, and like all it's the stuff. So you can't. And lemon it just doesn't work. So then, but it looks really good. It looks like it would be a really fun recipe to try, and then you can start throwing in like all these different like, you know, flavor profiles that go with lemon, you know, blueberry, raspberry, that kind of thing.
Right.
But then it's like, okay, but what do we call it then, right? So
right. That makes sense.
So but that's where you see the like. So your basic zone is like, okay, a tiramisu, but like how could I play off of that dessert but make it different? Or there's like cheesecakes and things like that, and figure out like once you know that baseline of that, you can explore.
Yeah.
And that also helps you along the lines of like if you were to have allergies or restrictions, or you know people with that, because once you start knowing the base of what it is, you can start shifting around ingredients or swapping out stuff and figuring out how it's going to, on some level, like a scientifically zoned level, how it's going to affect the flavor profile or the texture, things like that, so that you kind of know what to do. And that's also where you can start researching as well, because like for us, we've worked with lots of people with allergies.
Yes. And that just comes with many years in the industry.
It does, but we also research. So, like, we will go and look at different recipes or different things that are allergy friendly, or see how other people have done it and be like, okay, well, this seems like it may be good, but let's swap this out because we know it could be better.
Right.
And that's really something that you find through exploring more in the sense of research.
Yeah, and that kind of also explores how you want to move forward with your cooking, because at the end of the day, when you take your basics and then when you take those new ingredients that you're testing out and trying and new recipes that you've been researching and everything, you know, at that point you're getting ready to really start introducing it to the rest of your family or friends. And that's one of the best things about working in a kitchen, is that you're surrounded by others and you're not just doing it alone.
No.
Because even in a professional kitchen, we're surrounded by a team of people.
Yeah.
And everybody is involved in some way.
And for the most part, this is a totally random side note, but that's where, because you talked about a team, so I was like, so I mean, that's where you hope that everyone is actually team playing, in the sense that, like, if
Right.
someone is needing help, you jump in.
Right, and now that's of
So-
course something that you would have to experience if you're dealing with a professional kitchen, because there's a lot of
Well,
egos in kitchens,
there are.
and
But it's interesting because, like, it kind of it leads into the last area,
Right.
which is
No, for sure.
getting others involved. So, like, number 4 is get others involved, because as you are doing all these things in the kitchen, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you start bringing in, whether it's friends or family members or your
Right.
kids or things like that,
yes,
you're getting them involved creates memories for you
right,
and your family in the kitchen.
right, and
So
that's going to
that's-
be a huge
Mhm.
incentive, not only for you as a person, but for your family and friends to just want to come over and be with you,
Mm-hmm.
because then at the end of the day, everybody's creating memories together.
Right. And it, like, because you're getting to, like, then depending on what level you're at or things like that, getting them involved, you're then getting to kind of teach them and experience those times together, and it definitely grows your passion.
Oh yeah,
Because, like, and that's one of the big things I would say that we really love about cooking is experiences
Yes.
and memories around the table with family, or for
Right.
holidays, or in the kitchen, like getting our boys to cook with us and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's all makes it that much better.
Oh yeah, for sure. And having the opportunity to be able to share it with others, even if it's just very close friends of yours, or like Melissa said, if it's family and your kids, it just really helps bring together the fact that cooking is about love. Cooking is about wanting to share your experience with those around you. And by extending yourself into your food and then sharing it with those around you, you're sharing a piece of yourself with everyone.
Yeah. And like and that's one of the big reasons why we offer for like our personal chef events, like
Yeah.
where we do on-site services, because we'll go to whether it's someone's home or their vacation rental or
Right.
something like that, and we'll cook, either a meal that they've just decided on, or it could be a themed meal or something like that.
they helped create,
But
like
it's-
helped us kind of create and think.
Yeah,
up.
kind of. But the thing that's great about it is that they're involved.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, we're there cooking for them, but they can sit there and watch us and talk to us and ask questions, and it makes it really a cool experience, because
Oh, it makes it a great experience.
while we don't necessarily know them until we get there,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool, because you get to, like, we get to see them enjoying the food and having a great time together, but we
Yeah.
also get to get them involved in, like, how the cooking is done. And that's why there's restaurants that also have chef tables like that
Yeah,
and stuff
no,
too, because
absolutely.
it's a really cool experience.
And I think, and kind of to piggyback on that and kind of go off on a little bit more into the story, one of my favorite experiences with the on-site events that we've done, there's a couple people that like I really enjoyed cooking for. So someone that's used us repeatedly throughout their trips to Orlando. I've always loved cooking for them and their family, because we've really gotten close and gotten to know each other on more than just the, hey, you're my chef and you're here doing this thing, and we're just kind of surface level talking. Now it was more of, how's the family, how's this going, and it really became, now we're connected in more than just one way. And then there was the Halloween event that we did at Riviera.
That was
one was a lot of fun.
But it just makes it more enjoyable getting others involved. So it's,
Yeah.
So bit of a recap, but how good tips for growing your passion in cooking. Learn the basics. So start with your groundwork.
Yep.
Try new and unique ingredients.
Absolutely.
Research and learn, right?
Yeah.
And then get others involved.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, once you get all of that together, once you're moving forward and you're getting
Yeah.
yourself in your kitchen and experiencing more of the food that you're making, you're just gonna really be able to help grow that passion.
Now, of course, like, I will also say, you don't have to do all of these. Now, I would say some of your top ones are going to be, like, basics are going to be good. I would say trying out new ingredients is good. Research and learning, I think that we see, because you're going to see stuff on Facebook, Instagram, all of that, right? But getting others involved is a really great one, because if you kind of lack the motivation, if you have someone else doing it with you,
Yeah.
it makes it easier and more enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if they're just hanging out with you in the kitchen.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, is that they don't have to be cooking. They can just be hanging out. But
And spending time with you.
while they're there, it still helps create memories. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to being able to bring out more episodes to you. So until next time, keep it 100% fresh.